A unique name is everything for a brand. And trust me, we can't overstate the importance of getting that name right. In fact, a majority of product and brand managers believe that a name alone can influence product sales even without the help of advertising. Yet, many entrepreneurs and business owners overlook this crucial process. In this video, I will analyze brand names from the top 100 companies in the medical device industry, breaking down key principles for coming up with great brand name, along with some tips to help you make the right choice. Memorable. A great brand name should be simple, distinctive, and meaningful, evoking a mental image that helps customers to visualize the brand's essence. Given the global expansion of Chinese brands, here are some examples where this process of naming a brand went awry. Example 1. 比印乐芬. This Chinese golf apparel brand aimed for a Nordic flair, but the name was spelled differently when it first came out. The 8 consonants makes it difficult to pronounce, write, or remember. While its Chinese name performed well domestically, its English spelling created challenges as the brand attempted to expand internationally. That's why the company later changed its name to Beilhofen, which remains a phonetic translation of the Chinese name, but features a more balanced distribution of vowels and consonants. Unfortunately, the brand's assets of the old translation is still on the internet long after the name change, causing more confusions to Chinese and international customers, not to mention the enormous waste of money to change the marketing assets. Example 2. Romanization of Chinese names. On the flip side, some companies make the mistake of relying too heavily on pinyin. That's Romanized representation of Chinese characters for the brand name. This can create confusion in international markets where the pronunciation of Chinese names differs significantly from English. Additionally, avoid using provincial or regional names in your brand. Not only can this make the name unnecessarily long, but it can also confuse international audiences who are unfamiliar with specific regional references. That being said, if you have the confidence and willpower to build a strong Chinese identity, then by all means do so. Such is the case with Huawei, a direct plain transliteration of Huawei. There's simply no effective way to translate the cultural depths and the national pride embedded in that name. And it is generally inspiring to see people around the world recognize, pronounce, and appreciate it. When creating a name for global markets, aim for simplicity and ease of pronunciation. Remember, not everyone speaks English as a first language, and even those who do may struggle with unfamiliar sounds. Strive to be international, but don't overcomplicate the process. A great brand name should feel effortless, not forced. Original. A name that sounds international can make your brand seem more global. And there's no shame in that. People are drawn to the names that resonate with their own culture. That's why we often use English when doing business internationally. However, a name that is too familiar to an existing household name could cause you to be perceived as a copycat. Case 1. Livotronic. Let's imagine a made-up brand, Livotronic, to demonstrate the impact of a brand name that strikes a familiar tone to a well-known international brands in the healthcare industry. And it's fairly obvious which one. Case 2. Insil. Ensil is a product brand from J&J MedTech, a vessel sealer. Another company comes up with the name Insil, which sounds weirdly similar to its competitor. This kind of strategy may prove questionable, attracting customers. Speak to the audience, not the owner. A strong brand name serves as a powerful and reliable signal of brand information. In their study, Keleno explored how meaningful brand names impact advertising recall, showing that suggestive names enhance recall of benefits aligned with brand meaning. It's important that your brand name speaks to its audience, not just to you as a founder. Founders often get attached to the brand names because to them, it's like naming their child. But remember, you and your customer may not share the same profile in terms of gender, income, or cultural background. Culturally sensitive. Many companies don't consider implications of the brand name in international markets. In China, companies often choose names that resonate with the Chinese names, but these names can cause problems when they enter the global market. When a brand name doesn't fit well with the market, or worse, when it's completely off the mark, it can diminish your brand's value. In some rare instances, a name with cultural or religious connotations can result in major issues. Case 1. White Elephant. White Elephant is a Chinese battery brand. The name can be neutral, likable, even auspicious in some regions. For example, White Elephant is a symbol of peace or auspiciousness in Buddhism. However, it bears negative connotations in Western culture. In the West, white elephant often refers to something costly but useless or burdensome. That is not the image you want to project to your customers. Case 2. Coyote. The name coyote was chosen possibly with the idea of evoking the wolf spirit or 狼性文化 that was really popular among business owners for a time in China. Guess what the wolf lovers would do when wolf was already chosen by another medical company? While the coyote can be associated with wilderness and adaptability, and may be good for an outdoor performance brand, the animal does not have a universally positive reputation. In fact, in Western pop culture, the coyote is often portrayed as a foolish, unsuccessful character, like the character you see in Looney Tunes series. Additionally, linking a medical technology company to an animal like the coyote could confuse customers at best and damage a brand's image at worst. Case 3. Adolf. Wow! Imagine a shampoo and body wash brand named Adolf. While the founder claimed it was inspired by a Spanish perfumer, which isn't true because Adolf is by all means a Deutsch word, it's clear that this name evokes negative associations in most Western cultures. Anyone who has taken a history class knows that name bears significant offensive historical weight and should be avoided at all cost. Company brand versus product brand. Before delving into specific naming strategies, it's important to distinguish between a company brand and a product brand. Some companies, especially those who started with a single product, use a name for both. Legacy brands like Coca-Cola and Pepsi are examples of this. However, as the company grows and its portfolio diversifies, it's often necessary to create separate brand names for individual products. Your company brand will still be present on packaging and other materials, but a dedicated product brand will help convey the product's features more effectively. Example: Intuitive Surgical. Intuitive is the company brand, reflecting the ease of use for surgeons. Da Vinci is the product brand for its robotic surgery system, referencing the famous Italian painter who contributed to the development of modern anatomy and surgery. They are dedicated brands for the accessories as well. Space for expansion for the company brand. It's tempting to choose a name that's very specific to your current product or service offering. But think long term. Will that name still fit as your business grows? Case 1. Sonoscape. Sonoscape is a great name for a company that originally focused on ultrasonic imaging. However, as the company expanded into other medical technologies such as endoscopy and surgery instruments, the name no longer captured the full scope of the offerings. Case 2. United Imaging. Another example is United Imaging, which originally focused on imaging equipment like CTs and MRI machines, but now also produces hearing aids and surgical instruments. The name no longer fits the broader range of products offered and can confuse its customers. Case 3. GE Healthcare and J&J MedTech. Both GE and J&J have kept names that clearly communicates their focus on healthcare while allowing flexibility for future expansions. When GE spun off its various business segments, it renamed them GE Healthcare, GE Aerospace, and GE Vernova. Similarly, when Johnson & Johnson spun off its consumer health segment, the new company was named Kenvue. Trademark and domain availability. Before you get too attached to a name, always check if it's been already registered. Ideally, have at least 3 options in mind. Visit the global brand database to search potential names and avoid any legal complications later. Case 1. Lenovo. Lenovo was once known as Legend in China, but the name was already registered in most other countries. Thus, they choose the invented name of Lenovo for their international market expansion. Naming conventions. While you should think outside of the box and come up with really unique and distinctive names, here are some conventions you can follow to create faster. I analyzed the top 100 companies in medtech industry, and here is a breakdown. Founder. This is one of the most common naming conventions, especially for long-established companies over 50 years. 20% of the top 100 companies follow this convention, such as Stryker and Baxter. Descriptive. Some brands go for names that describe exactly what they do. However, only 9% of the top 100 companies use this convention, and most of them are limited in certain specialties. The reason is simple. A descriptive name limits your expansion beyond your own specialty. Some examples include Shockwave Medical. This company pioneered the technology of intravascular lithotripsy, which literally shake and break the clots in vascular systems. Microport, a Chinese company specialized in minimally invasive treatment procedures. The microport, Weichuan, refers to how small the incision point is in the procedure, referring to the minimal damage and maximal healing post-operation for the patient. Acronym. Acronyms can work as well, especially for names that are long or foreign origin. This is not a widely embraced naming strategy and are only used with other conventions. For example, JMSCO stands for Japan Medical Supply Corporation. AGFA stands for the company originated in 1873 as Aktien Gesellschaft für Allienfabrikation. I think we can all agree that AGFA sounds much better than these long, complex German words. Cultural. Many companies draw inspirations from the culture, history, location, or symbolism. 23% of the top 100 companies draw inspiration from this category. It's important to avoid words or phrases that might offend certain ethnic or religious groups. Be culturally sensitive. For example, Olympus. In Greek mythology, Mount Olympus is the home of 12 spring gods. Olympus was named after this mountain to reflect its strong aspiration to create high-quality, world-famous products. Cardinal health. Cardinal was likely chosen to reference the cardinal bird, symbolizing elevation and ambition. The logo is also a bird. Invented. As the business world grows, we are running out of generic names. This is where invented names comes into play, created by combining parts of the world to form something unique and memorable. 31% of the companies, especially those founded in recent decades, followed this convention. Examples include Medtronic, a combination of medical and electronics. Mandarin, a Chinese company, the name is a combination of Mand and Ray, which also sounds like its Chinese pronunciation, Bai Rui. Combined approach. You can also mix these naming conventions. The rest of the names in the list falls under this category. Examples include Dentsply Sirona. Dentsply is a dentist supply company from New York, while Sirona was established in Germany before the merger. Massimo. The Italian word Massimo means the greatest, but the final name removed an S to make it unique. Zimmer Biomet. Zimmer comes from Justin O. Zimmer, who founded the company in 1927, while Biomet is an invented word, probably the combination of biology, medicine, and technology. To help guide your naming process, here is an actionable checklist. First, define your brand's mission and target markets. Do you want to narrow down your business to a specific specialty for its lifespan, or do you envision a branching out in the future? Second, brainstorm potential names using conventions discussed and avoid the pitfalls. Third, test your shortlisted names with your target audience for feedback and reiterate. 4. Go to the global brand database to check if that name has been taken, or consult a lawyer. 5. Plan ahead. it's best to have your name right when you create a company rather than having to change it 3 years later when you decide to go global. And that's it. You have all the tools you need to create a great brand name. Creating a powerful brand name is one of the most crucial steps in building a successful business. A great name not only helps you stand out in a crowded marketplace, but also communicates your values, resonates with your target audience, and leaves a lasting impression. By carefully considering these conventions and avoid common pitfalls, you can create a brand name that not only captures your business essence, but also strengthens your connection with customers. Naming your brand is the first step in crafting a compelling brand identity, and getting it right can set you up for long-term success. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, save, or subscribe if you find this useful. I'll see you in the next episode.